So good evening and welcome to Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Event Studios down in Studio 1 in the old beer cellar. And we've got a cracking show for you tonight because we're on one of my favourite, and I think Russ's favourite courses for the Chaingang. And that is Innsbruck Ring. You can see our riders, they're just lined up over there, all ready to go. We're on 6.5 minutes or so to a start of the ride, and it promises to be a bit of a cracker. Now, a bit of a late news just breaking that we may or may not have our red beacon with us tonight. It looks like our red beacon just at the moment delayed and unable to get to the start line. If that changes, well, it'll appear and we'll see a red beacon appear magically as if by magic from behind the curtain. And hopefully, Greg, you'll be able to get there. And thanks for letting us know, and totally understand, mate. It is one of the perils of having to work for a living. You occasionally have to work late. That's just how it goes. Don't forget, of course, all of the Chaingang only possible because we have the support of some amazing people who donate. And if you are a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, massive, massive, massive thank you, because you guys basically keep the show on the road. They keep Russ's wheels turning. It means that we can put the time into getting the shows out there. And gotta say, big thank you to all of the commercial guys who look after them, the people who we've worked with over the years, who've jumped on board and helped us on the gang. And you can see them just up here. So 1080 with all of those great Oakley products, Fox and all sorts. We've got OT for all of that hydration, that nutrition. We've got Gritty for the sustainable sports kit for riding the bike in. We've got Velo Skin to make sure you're sitting comfortably and that you're a bit smoother than me today. That's because I'm planning on being out in the cold for a few weeks soon. And then don't forget, of course, we've got Nonnas. Now, I know for a fact that there are a couple of tables free at Nonnas at the moment. Make sure you get down and support those guys. They've been supporting everybody all the way through, and it just shows you just how a fickle a trade can be. When on Valentine's night of all nights, they've got a little bit of space in there. Don't forget, of course, Halo keeping all the wheels moving, and Shed with the best Continental rubber. And it's Continental who are our key supporters this month in February. And no, I can't tell you what the giveaway is going to be. Yes, I am sworn to secrecy, and yes, it is well worth happening. So let's watch this space. Now, Russ already down on our start line. He knows where we're going, but let's get ourselves across, and we are going to run our way through the gang. So you can see we've got Russ as our yellow beacon. He's lined up. The leading is 0.2k. We do 5 laps of 8.8 kilometres, and that is going to bring us round to our finish at 44.2k. We finish at the UCI Worlds banner, and the key part of this is that because it is 5 laps, it is a pretty tough course because that leg snapper climb that is on the far left hand side of the course, blue dot on it now, that basically is the section where, because we repeatedly go up there, we've got 360 meters of elevation on this course. That is a substantial amount, so please guys, make sure that you keep that gang together. If you're listening live, it's going to be really important to roll out nice and steady. Now hopefully we're going to see our red beacon, and that is going to be Greg Pilser. So Greg was due to be with us. Greg, hopefully you'll be able to get in before the end. Don't forget, if you are running late, then you can, of course, always use that late start. So let's show you that leg snapper. It's left-hand side of our Velo viewer profile here today. And as you can see, the key part of this is 2.5k to 3k. The long drag that runs up over the bridge, over the rail line and the river, before dropping quickly down into that right-hand turn. It's then a long drag to 4.5k, where a left and right-hand turn takes us onto the climb. You can see the gradient in there. It's not monstrous. It's not into the red, but it is enough to do damage. And because it is a knife edge summit, where you go up and then quickly downwards, what that does is it splits the group. So any gaps, if you let a gap go, you might be able to close it on that descent, but probably the people behind you won't. So it's really important to stay in the wheels and keep the group together as you go over that knife edge. Absolutely critical. that you do that and keep it together as you go over that knife edge, because if you go up and off the other side and there's a gap opens, it's very hard for people to close it down. There is a second knife edge. You can see that coming at about 5.75k into the route, and that does exactly the same thing, but not quite as tough. But don't forget, of course, that once you've gone through that, we've got that little drag into the sprint at 6.75k, and then we roll round to our start line. Now we've got 5 laps today, so it is key that you get this etched in your head of what we're going up, what we're going down, and how that is going to play out, because it is really, really key. So as we move in to our last few moments prior to our start, a quick reminder: Russ is our yellow beacon. He's the man who's calling the shots in terms of where that ride picks up pace, where how that ramp works. You can see in front of you that course. This is going to be key, making sure we keep everybody together. So as we get ready for our start, Russ just jumping on to the gang. It's good to see that he's already down there. Those messages coming out from Russ in yellow. At the start, they're on the right-hand side as you go into the middle of the ride. They're going straight up through the centre of your screens, and we will be jumping in there. And a quick reminder, guys, remember, if you're a member of the DCG gang, make sure you get joined up nice and early. Steady start like normal. Our red beacon not with us tonight, so it's going to be really key, guys, that you guys all keep it together on the way round. So please make sure you try and keep that as nailed together as you can. So the gang are ready to get underway. Let's jump across in with them now, and let's go and see the Chaingang up and away. So the riders lined up and ready to go into those final few seconds. So here we go. On Continental February on the Donny Chaingang, our riders up and away. We're in with one of our new riders to start off with, James at the moment, and one of our newer riders on here. There are still new riders not yet been on, so Nick James, welcome Nick. Enjoy the ride, follow that yellow beacon, and make sure that everybody keeps that together. Brilliant to see that everybody is rolling out, and I think pretty much everybody away. That's what we want to see, a nice big pack of riders. Let's get our helicopter up in the air and let's take a look at the pack. It's looking pretty good at the moment. We'll take a little bit of a roll back though, shall we, through the gang, and let's see if we can get ourselves back onto that start line. Now, the only beacon that shouldn't be going anywhere is going to be the one of full speed events. I think Dale Williams just having to do a bit of a chase on. Keith Richardson definitely more than capable of that. Keith over on the far side in blue. And these riders on the way out. The mountains rearing up in the background. So the gang on their way down through this start line area and making the way out on to the course proper. So good to see the gang heading out. It looks like our last few riders just making their way back on. And Mr. Taylor and Richardson just at the back here. Woodall just in front. Interesting to know that we're on a lot fewer riders tonight. I think a lot of people on Valentine's Day duties. Mr. Williams with a fair bit of powering up to do. Mr. Little on the back here. Good to see that we've got James on here. Love it, Mr. Mason. Thanks for the flowers, Russ. Excellent. Love it. You wish. So just watching the gang on the way out, looking pretty smooth at the moment as they make their way out of town. Just going to have a quick check. Bobby Mason nicely in here. It is half term as well. That is very true. So for those people who are have half terms and go away and maybe out doing something like falling down snowy slopes, well, enjoy. Let's take a check where Mr. Williams is. It's kind of coming, slowly but surely. Be interested to see if he makes it. Chris Ball tucked in just on the back of the gang at the moment. Good reminder, of course, with no red beacon, guys, you're going to need to make sure that you keep yourselves pretty and smooth. So our gang heading out, looking good at the moment, chatting away as they make their way out to the roundabout. Top right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the map change as we just move to an aerial view. Just keeping a check. Looks like Simon Oxenham just dropping back. He's the dot who's going backwards. I suspect he's going to go pick up Dale Williams, who should be coming in on his 6, which is why it is number 6 for the rear view mirror. Coming in on your 6 means coming up behind you, and so you can see what's coming in on your 6. It is key 6 if you want to watch behind. So Simon Oxenham just waiting for Dale Williams, and Simon Oxenham is an absolute legend, definitely. He can just see Dale on the way at the moment, so he is the figure on that pink Tron bike. There's Dale Williams' view, could the same thing. They're going to come in to that roundabout, take that right-hand turn. So let's see if they can get themselves back in. The group is pretty much together with the exception of Williams and Oxenham. They have got a bit of distance to move up. So here comes Dale Williams. He's just going to come on to the wheels of Oxenham. Oxenham just starting to boot up the power at the moment. And here we go. You can just see Dale just cruising in on to that back wheel. Let's see how they are rolling. Looks to me like John Gale with a drop out there at 0 watts per kilo. You need to be kicking now, buddy, if you are trying to get in. But it looks like he's got an issue from the tech. So a reminder from Russ to everybody of what we've got coming up. Remember, it is all about waiting for that signal. Our riders on the way through. Dale Williams, Simon Oxenham, just about to make contact with the back of the gang. If we get our drone camera up in the air, it is a absolutely cracking view over the rail yards, across with the mountains in the background. And as you can see, as our drone circles these riders, and they're about to make contact with the back of that group. That is some serious pace, some serious power, getting them back in with the gang. So you can see everybody. We're just in with Marty Davidson here at the moment, just on the back of the gang. And just going to keep a check on how everybody's doing. Looks like Rocket Raccoon just getting tucked in to the group. But looking good at the moment, just going down past these crowds at the minute. So around that right-hand turn, going to be heading up on to the climb, not far to go until our riders get themselves up there. Let's see how they get on today as they make their way in. It looks like Mr. Evans nicely tucked in. A few stragglers at the back, just need to keep closed up here, as they don't want to get distance as you go up and over the top. Really key to stay in those wheels. What you're going to find is that you get yourselves stuck where you don't want to be, and that is on the wrong side of a split as you come up through. Now, it doesn't seem like a week ago, but it was 1 week ago when this rider, Tom Lindley, gave us an absolute masterclass in sprint finishes as we came in to the Fuego Flats sprint. We saw an attack by Jimmy Allen go, then get pulled back. We saw Russ pushing on, then Isaac Oliver going. Then we saw Dale Williams and Mason go, but it was Lindley who took that sprint. If you haven't seen it, jump on to the YouTube channels, jump on to the Facebook pages and have a look at last Tuesday's ride. If you go to about 1 hour 45 minutes in, you'll find the footage of the sprint. Absolutely brilliant to see. Good to see we've got Tracy on board. Tracy Seeley one of our key riders on the Donny Chaingang and on the WOW DCG. WOW DCG coming to you tomorrow. And tomorrow's course just slightly different to our courses. We're going to be going to Watopia. It's triple flat loops for the WOW DCG tomorrow, and then we're back in Innsbruck on Thursday, so going to be very different course on Thursday, but lots of options for our riders to jump in, and hopefully you'll see Tracy all the way through. Tracy, one of our key beacons on the WOW DCG, the Women Only Wednesdays Donny Chaingang, as well as an absolutely committed Chaingang rider too. So as you can see, that's no moon. That moon just sitting up over the top. Russ just calling the shots, trying to keep everybody to take it nice and easy. As you come up on to this section of the climb, we're going to get our drone camera up in the air, fly it up over those buildings, and let's try and keep an eye on our riders as they come up this slope. It is a very, very easy section of the course to find that the course splits our riders. You can see if we take our drone camera across directly to the side, it is an 8% climb. But what is key here, if we take our shot up, is that as you go up over the very top of this climb, where the archway is, if the gaps go, if you leave a wheel gap, you might be able to close that down, but the riders behind you won't. So it's not about what you do, how it affects you, but how it affects all the rest. And this is one of the key things. One of the things we've always wanted to make sure is that we give our riders a good education of what the course is like and how to ride at pace in a group. Now, it's really key when you're out, and if you ever get to race this route, that you know exactly how that split affects. It is worth absolutely burying yourself to stay with the group on this climb if you are out and racing, and the same applies after the 3 Gs and the 3 Os. And it is really easy. If you're on the front, you need to cruise and not do any pushing. If you're on the back, do not let a gap go, come basically hell or high water. Pushing at the front will destroy the group because it will force those riders behind to close gaps that are virtually impossible to do. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to drop our camera directly across from this group. Watch how these gaps start to open up as we go over the top here. And if we push the camera up, you can just see it turns into one very long, thin line. The gap's opening at the back here, and at the front, you can see the riders who are squeezing just a little bit on the front top right hand side of your screen. The map just showing that they'd opened a little bit of a gap. It compresses, but all of these gaps opened up, so any distance on the course between you and the riders in front is exaggerated as they come in and through. So that whole group spread out, split up and stretched on here. And if you weren't on the back of that pack as you went over the top, you're now going to be in trouble, having to chase like an absolute loon, basically. So that's the second of the sharp turns done. We drop down, and now we have a long, draggy run in towards the sprint section coming up. That is alongside the river. As you can see, already getting riders just starting to be distanced, and that is because of the section on there. Now, what I would suggest, if you are on there, do a drop out and rejoin. If you get more than 20 seconds, or you're not doing twice the power that the main group is doing, you aren't going to get in. And that means you need to be doing about 4 or 5 watts per kilo to get back into that pack, and you've got to do it quick or you're going to get distanced. So Russ leading our riders through. Leading from the back of the pack, just making sure to keep everybody under control. Everybody should be able to see that yellow beacon, because We're nicely under that 100 marker where we start to see those riders unable to get those gaps. And if we chuck the helicopter up in the air, and you can see everybody cruising through nicely through that 300-meter sprint point. So the gang about to take the right-hand turn, make their way out and around, and head back towards the line. It will be the first of our 5 laps complete when we go underneath the UCI banner. We have a number of worlds that have been put in for the World Championships, UCI World Championships. We have, of course, the Richmond World Championships course. We have the Bologna TT course, comes from the Giro. We have, of course, in terms of major events, the Yorkshire World Championship courses. We also, of course, are here in Innsbruck, and we have also the Scottish courses now for the Esports World Championships. So custom made to run with those Esports World Championships. Selected riders from a number of countries contesting the World Esports Championships, and riders who regularly on the game, people like Charlotte Colclough representing the UK, and good to see Charlotte back again. So looks like the gang rolling along and just keeping it ticking over on the front. A few people just having to make the pace up at the back of the pack. This, of course, a run through a rehearsal for the next section. A few people just dropping off the back. It looks like Simon Oxenham is doing a job of sweeper here, whether he's got that banner on or not. I'll tell you something, Mr. Raccoon, as Andy Watson has got more than enough pace to get himself back in with that pack. He's definitely capable of closing that gap down. Gibbo just tucked in to the back of the group as well. Simon, if you are deliberately doing a sweeping job, thank you very much. So really appreciate the fact that you're helping the rest of the gang by jumping around at the back and bringing them back on, as has been proven by the guys before. Neil did some data on this. It's actually the TSS score, your stress score, your training stress score. If you are red beacon is as high as if you're on the front working with the group to stay with that beacon, with the yellow beacon and with the front riders after the trigger point. It's the same stress score as if you are a red beacon working at the back and bringing riders back in. It shows you what a great workout it is at the back of the gang. So underneath the banner we go. As Matt Nunn says, 4 laps to go. Matt Nunn, of course, our official unofficial. He's officially our unofficial lap scorer. Not quite sure how that works, but he's officially our unofficial lap scorer. More importantly, he can count backwards, something that occasionally I have a moment or two struggling to do, particularly on busy weeks like this. Mr. Rillix, is that the finish? It is indeed. We're not finishing on top of the leg snapper. We could actually do that now that it has a line on top of it, but I think Russ is not feeling that meme yet. But I personally don't be surprised that if we're back in September for even more of this madness, Russ doesn't decide to do that for 1 or 2 of the routes. Russ planning all the routes this season on the way through from Christmas, and Russ choosing pretty much everything. Oh, good to see we've got Crosscast Neil in. Neil is in here. Neil from the Crosscast, my co-host, and the man who has been stitching and doing all the editing, is in here and responsible for making sure scoring all the points on our predictors competition. Neil, of course, is also from Gritty, who are key commercial supporters of the DCG gang, one of the people who do those discounts to the members of DCG gang, and it is a 20% discount to the members of the DCG gang from Gritty. So if you join up, get yourself signed up, get some sustainable kit designed by the gang over at Gritty, local to the Midlands area, and of course Neil's a keen supporter of the Chaingang, and of course co-host on the Crosscast. We had Ian Field as our guest back. He did the pre-World show and the post-World show. I'm loving the fact that Rusty's trying to ignore Mason saying the leg snapper finish would be fun. Mason saying Glasgow crit course is hard on fatties. I'll be honest, the Glasgow circuits and riding on them, and we've been doing a bit of testing. I certainly getting out there. Russ has done a number of events on there. I've been riding on there with some big number groups. Not necessarily the most stable worlds when it comes to riding on at the moment. And we did this with Mercury, actually. We didn't hit Mercury Islands for quite a long time after it came out. And that was partly because we wanted to make sure it was stable and it could handle the numbers of the gang on there and the pace and the speed, because we don't want to give anybody a bad experience. I think when we go there, you're all going to suffer, that's for sure. It is a tough, tough, tough course. Don't forget, of course, keep an eye on on Russ's feed. So that is on Fonzie Downing on Instagram, and catch up with him there. And Donny cycling and bike flakes, of course, it's basically all Russ. And then you can catch up and see where he's out and going. Don't forget, of course, you can follow me. It's at Matt Fix Pain. And I'm also on Strava. Not that everything goes onto Strava. Sometimes we have to remove rides that we're doing because it is for clients, etc. So guys, just bear in mind that those numbers are not all necessarily to be believed. On the way through, there's a lot more riding goes on that shows up on the Strava feed, that's for sure. Probably the dog walk is the most consistent that goes on there, but give it a follow. Make sure you give a follow on social media. And don't forget, of course, at Full Speed Events. So what's the story with Bikeflex, Russ? New thing. Bikeflex is Russ's new venture. It is the new name for the effectively being able to get your bike on Flightable. So you basically are using it to get yourself a new bike, and that includes all sorts of Wahoo bikes on there as well. Make sure you go on there. Russ will put up the links on there. Definitely worth having a look at. So basically, it's like leasing your bike on the way through. Yep, knew Russ would give the correct term. Great way to do it. I agree with what Mr. Mason. I'm just watching two chats here simultaneously: the Bikeflex chat and the chat about the Glasgow courses. And I will agree 100% that the courses are not the smoothest to ride around at the moment. Loving the shadows of the riders on here. So the gang on the way down, strung out as they come down this descent again, going over a rise into a descent. The group will stretch and string out. Check it, he's not going to spell it. They'll pull him up. So lots of our usual suspects on. Finlay Hudson in here, Mr. Bree Sturdy in here, and Keyworth in here, Keith Richardson. Bikeflex.co.uk, there you go, going up on the screens for you. We'll see if Russ does indeed have it nailed. So just riding in with Tom and Lindley at the moment. Definitely a man to watch as we move through. Swift don't do links yet. No, you can't drop links very easily into your profiles, or in fact into the conversation. I'm loving the fact that Mr. Mason was going to have that for his OnlyFans account. If you need to ask what an OnlyFans account is, don't please. Don't want to have to explain it. So the bounty continues in the Chaingang. The riders approaching The run to the leg snapper for the second of 5 times. So, our riders on that climb, there's still chats going, quite impressive. And people have still got the energy to talk. And let's see if they manage to all keep together on the way over the top. Are we going to see any gaps opening up? Jimmy Allen looks like he's our last rider on the course at the moment. Actually, it's quite unusual. You'll see Jimmy at the back there. You all right, Jimmy? Evening. Good to see you, mate. Jimmy, of course, standing in for Russ when Russ is otherwise on duty and engaged elsewhere on duties, and he's had a relatively quiet time recently. I don't curse anything, but definitely been quiet. He heads up, speaking of quiet times and busy times, and standing in with intent. So we've got all the shows this week coming through to you. So that is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, next week we are on the move and heading for the Farmhouse Studios in France. That means there is the potential on Tuesday that we may not be putting a show out. We've built it, it's all ready to go, the routes are in, the graphics are done, and it will be coming with us. And we will be doing it from the studios if it all goes to plan. But obviously, with 16 hours journey immediately before it, we do have to be a little bit careful to work out what's going on. We're actually doing a little bit of a diversion on the way down this time round to go pick up some more kit on the way through for the studios. So it's going to be quite a long journey down. So we are aiming on being there. So the gaps have indeed opened up. You can just see Craig using that power up. Taylor just getting a drop out, I suspect. Guys, you've got about 5 minutes left to do any rejoins. Yep, 5 minutes to do a rejoin. So Robertson at the moment in front of Craig, and then it's going to be Taylor. Taylor just picking up the pace once again. But losing a lot of speed and a lot of time on that little section there. The Nick James, Jimmy Allen at the moment at the back of this long string. 2 very distinct packs, as you can see. If we get our drone camera up in the air, you can see that leading group just top left-hand side of your screen with the yellow beacon. This is the second of our groups coming through. We then have a number of riders behind. Wildy, Foden, Robertson and Crape are all at the moment being distance. Mantis Toboggan, what's everyone's favourite Scotland route? None of them. Not a fan. Must admit. I like Watopia. Just leave me in Watopia all the time. I'll be quite happy. Simon Runnett, thinking left field. The A9. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. I would say the road across Rannoch Moor, actually, if you're going to go for favourite roads. But it could be the one past the lakes and run into Italy thing, where the mountain bike world championships is going to be held. So it looks like the back of the bunch with a gap to Robertson, and it's going to be Dave Robertson. I think he's going to have Craig with him, so it could well be that our bus is going to be headed up by Dave. Dave, do you fancy being the bus tonight? Being our bus driver, seeing as though we don't have our bus driver with us. One of our regular riders in here. It's got Craig, one of our newer riders in there. So Callum Craig in with David Robertson at the moment. So these two at the moment, just at the back of that pack. It looks like Mr. Foden, Simon Foden, in with the group. 27 seconds back to Robertson and Craig. I suspect that's not going to come back as they go up the road. And that is just simply because of the pace of that big and good. So Craig and Robertson doing a nice job at the back there. Well done, guys. Teaming up, work together, find someone to ride with, and get that bus formed. Fantastic stuff. It's a bit like you know, a random dance breaking out on the streets. You know, the Gorilla Red bus there at the moment. So the gang on its way through, heading for the line once again to come through to complete this lap. We're just above Simon Foden at the moment, Jimmy Allen as well. Just watch these riders going in and through. So it looks like that gang just rolling together, just about to come down past the pens. Let's get our drone camera up in the air. The pens are just in the background over there. So you can just see the gang coming in and down, almost everybody together. It looks like we are just starting to lose one or two bodies off the back of that group with the pace as they come through. Let's have a look. Looks like Lowe being distanced and running out of time. You've only got a few seconds to get back in again. Craig and Robertson, well, they were working together. Looks like that gap has opened up. We're going to try and stay with the group because we don't have our red beacon with us. A little bit more difficult for us to drop back in. Yeah, got to keep that draft. Get dropped on the descent, it generally means that you weren't quite on there. 3 laps to go, goes the message from Mr. Donny, of course, as we go underneath the line. Matt Nunn doing an amazing job as always, making sure everybody knows how they're going. So at the moment, 18k in, half an hour's riding done. Looking good at the moment as they come in and through. And don't forget, of course, this is going to be our 3rd lap of 5. So here we go. So the chat continues in its usual frame. Absolutely loving it. On the run to the roundabout, be a right turn and going to be a climb up the bridge and head up the long flyover over the rail lines. So some interesting developments in the world of cycling and the world of esports cycling has landed. If you want to be a esports cyclist, normally you've got to have a top class rider. You had to do your turns on the road first. Now we're seeing more and more people taking to being full-time riders. People like Jason Osborne and Michael Vink have both signed for pro teams on the basis that esports performances across multiple platforms, in fact. And now seeing, in fact, one particular esports platform just launched a $1 million prize pot. A $1 million prize pot. And that is for an 8-day 7-stage tour. So a $1 million prize pot for esports. That is going to be a bit of a game changer. But for more details, go on to the Full Speed Events feed. It's not our money, believe me, on the way through. Well worth a look. And to be honest, most of our riders probably could do a rather good job on that. $1 million indeed. It is a huge prize pot. We'll see. Does that make me Dr. Evil, Matt? No. I wish. Although I am in my Dr. Evil chair today. I'm in a spinny studio chair, mostly because I ripped my bike coming through. Crashed the bike on the rollers, blowing the front wheel apart at the same time, which is not the cleverest thing to do. That'll teach me to try and multitask. Not the smartest move in the thing. We'll see. So on the way into the cobbles, the approaching mount is a surefire indicator that we are going to be running up on to Lake Snapper once again. Mr. Lindley hiding in out of the way. Well, the gang looking pretty blobbed up on the way through. Looks like Craven Robertson both now distanced back a couple of minutes at the most at the halfway point. But we are doing 5 laps. We are on our 3rd lap. We're about halfway through it, in fact. So just approaching that halfway distance. Remember, we are going to finish at 42.2, so that gives you a good indication that we're just hitting that halfway marker as we come in through town, and our helicopter just getting away. Mr. Lindley's feeling very watched at the moment. I know, we're going to try and make you paranoid, Tom. It's mostly because I can't be... don't have to change the screens non-stop. Plus, we don't watch your heart rate explode somewhere. I'd be very jealous of what it gets to. Let's watch Steve Cannons instead. Steve, another of our regular riders. If you're at the back, you get picked on, basically. If you're at the back or the front, you're going to get shown. Sit in the middle out of the way, you can hide. Hide in the bunch, hide in the group. Stay out of the way. Unless you're Russ, of course, with a big chevron over the top. So on to the climb we go. Mr. Little just losing a little bit of ground at the back there. Very dangerous to see. So the gap's just starting to open at the back of this. Interesting to see we've got Joe Blackburn back on again. Joe going to be another of our yellow beacons on the WOW DCG, regularly the fastest finisher. Actually was in that sprint as we came in on Tuesday. He was top 10, I think, on the climb of Climbers Gambit, on the climb to the Epic Climb on Thursday. So a very fast finisher. We'll see how she goes today on here. He's getting a nosebleed. He's gone to the front of the group there. He's actually been allowed to go up to the front and the group behave itself. Nicely done, guys. So, quick reminder: make sure you're on. If you get distanced over the top, this is where you will lose ground. How's it gone? No. The magic words have not been uttered on the way through. However, we are on that run down, and this is where you're going to see the gaps opening up. You can see how thin it is. Look at the anvils on the way through. Plenty of people saying ban the anvil. I'm loving it on the way through, and it's a no from Russ. There has been no trigger point given. Really interesting camera angle to watch that again. Just see those power-ups being engaged by people on the way through. Personally, I'm liking the anvil. It adds a nice randomness to it on the way through. Yes, I think I know which power up I'll be saving. I know I will be. I'm definitely on there, going over the top of that. Get absolutely key. So, front of this group together. Just going to watch them going in and through. Yeah, back of that pack, just a little strung out. Looks like Mr. Oxon is still patrolling the back of the group as they go through. We're going to just take a little bit of a roll back at the moment just to see who is in trouble. Looks like Little and Catlin Mason as well. Bailey been distanced. Harrison's distanced now. Craven Robertson. So it's Robertson, Craven, Harrison, and Bailey. And then Stig Catlin. Then it's going to be Bobby Mason. Remember, guys, find somebody, set on the wheel, jump in, find somebody in that gang. So we hit the 40, so that is 40 minutes, 40 seconds of riding. We go through underneath that sprint, 24.7k covered. Plenty of power-ups coming the way of our riders. Just in with House at the moment. So Joe House nicely tucked in with this group as they come down and through this little section. Around the right-hand turn. This is the run for the line at the end of this lap. So, all quiet on the Western Front at the moment. This group just rolling along. Nice big pack. Nobody doing too much damage. Few riders being distanced on the way through as the pace continues to stay pretty hot. And coming up to the end of lap number 3. And very shortly, we'll take his left-hand turn. Deal from the crosscast, just level to level 38. Nice. Got a nice pair of gloves. Wait till you get to level 43 and can put the disc rear, super fast disc rear on. Change what you ride for sure. Two to go. And the go. So it is go. The go has gone. 2 to go, 2 laps of free-for-all. The pressure is going to be on the riders now because that is a tough time to be putting the pressure on. You've got to be able to kick, you've got to be able to get up here. Let's see how we're going to get on at the front. Is anybody going to be able to stay in with the very front of this group? Doesn't look like we've seen silly numbers up there, but we are seeing that push, and this is a big group. Let's take a little bit of a roll back through it. As we make our way towards the back of this pack. Looks like Lee run it. Joe House just on the back of this group. Looks like Young just being a distance at the moment. So Young just in trouble. Brad Young, Jason Kirkham. Also the same, just seen House, then Tracy Seeley. So the Terminator is currently just being distanced at the moment. Not like Tracy at this point to lose contact with the group. Lee's on the way through, then it's Priester, then Keyworth. Then it's going to be Wallace and Wildy. Looks like Carl Johnson just pushing here to get in. Steve Cannon's doing the same. So a big old pack of riders, apparently 42. We'll see whether that is the case. I'm going to make that nearer 50, but we will see. 51 riders, I reckon. Could be 52 with Simon running, jumping onto the back. So the pressure on, the riders having to respond as we start to see some probing moves up on the front. The pack are brought down to 50 riders in that group at the moment. Not really a trigger point on the run into this right-hand turn. I think all of our female riders in there, Freer in that group. I think we've also got Blackburn and Seeley in that lead group. At the moment, just going to double check because we were seeing Tracy Seeley just being distance. She is indeed distance from that, but she looks like just pushing on. So the go is gone. The trigger was pulled. The pin taken out the grenade. That initial kickoff has settled back down again. In fact, that group now not all that far off in terms of numbers of where they were earlier on. It's just lifting up that little bit higher, and now here we go up on to this long drag at the moment. Just one rider stretching the riders out at the moment. Let's see who's going to be able to do anything about it. So it looks like Harry Hudson has gone early. Very interesting. Dermot Oxenham Evans in pursuit of Hudson, but it is Harry Hudson who's got the gap at the moment. And this is an early strike for home. Harry Hudson's capable of riding this to the finish. This is a dangerous move. He's going to have a lot of sliding room on that on the last few laps here. So looks like he's gone clear. He's got the gap. 8 seconds to the good at the moment. So Hudson with what is now 9 seconds, stretching out a little bit more at a time. Still keeping that pace high. Took a little bit of a rest on that slight drop down off from the big dual carriageway down, but that group is now starting to pick up the pace behind. They're at 6 seconds to the group behind. If we take a look back from Harry, you can see that pack coming at speed, and it's about having a volume of riders. If you take 5, 6, 10 riders clear, you've got a chance. The question is, did Harry go burn on a match needlessly there? Because if he did, he could pay for it coming up into the climb. But you can see that mass of riders all the way across the road. So Hudson absorbed in this group, no flyers yet. Harry just stretching his legs out there. Let's see if anybody else fancies having a little bit of a go. So just in with Harry Hudson. Look at this, Harry Hudson leg openers there. Yep, not surprised. Just ready with Simon run it at the moment. Simon tucked into this group with those riders who's really improved over time. Let's see how these riders continue. We're going into the left-hand 90-degree turn. It's then the kick to the left and a 90 right, and then we are on that run in. So working the way through at the moment. Let's have a little bit of a check. Martin tucked in here. It's like Mr. Osmond again, also in Dave Fulton in here, Mick Hawkins, Taylor, Russ in here. Interestingly, Russ no heart rate on tonight, so staying clear. Blackburn and 51, Mr. Evans 164. Here we go, just starting to see the push go, and this looks like it's going to be a concerted effort by Mason and Oxenham to rip this up on the front here. Downing is going with them. Mason has got the gap at the moment. He's on the front, but Russ coming very quickly up onto his wheel. Lindley, Evans, Oxenham, Williams, Hudson, Osman, Pearson, Joe Blackburn is in the mix as well. I think Joe just easy enough a touch. You've got to be in this group, though. If you are not on the wheels as you go over the top here, this is where you're going to find yourself distance. The leaders go up over the top. We're keeping a check on Finley Hudson, who I think is going to be in there now. If you're at the back of this, you've got to chase. You've got to chase fast to get back on again. Lots of personal best times as they come up and over the top here. And if you've got a anvil right this moment in time, now is the time to deploy it. You can see those riders at the back there were saving a bit of energy before deploying the anvil. It's allowed them to really rocket the way down here, and looks to me like it's Mason and Williams with the gap at the moment, then Hudson, Oxenham. It's going to be Downing, Lindley, Evans, Osman, Blackburn, Nunn in that order at the moment, but you can see how fast those gaps have opened up. Osman and Blackburn weren't on the wheels as they went over the top, and it has allowed the gaps to open up to 20 plus seconds now. So your leaders at the moment, Dale Williams and Gareth Mason ahead of Downing, Oxenham, Hudson and Hudson. So Finley Hudson and Harry Hudson, the Hudson duo, tucked in to that group. Then it's Evans and Lindley, Osman and Nunn. So let's see how that progresses. At the moment, that's our leading group, just starting to come press together. So as you can see, Harry Hudson and Tom Lindley. It looks like Evans also in the back of this pack. So Dean Evans in there, and this is going to be 8 riders left in contention. Group number 2. Well, this is going to be the riders here coming through, and this is a big pack, you know. This is not a little group of riders coming up. Osman gets swept up by this group. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 riders, I make that at the moment. I think just seen some very quick riders in there. Yep, certainly seen a lot of fast riders in this group. So it looks like this has got a big pack of very fast riders. They're 9 seconds down on this group, but it looks to be like Russ has decided he's not hanging around any longer. And he's gone off the front here, opened a gap. So Russ in the lead. Group number 2, the second pack, well, first pack of riders, the second set of riders on the road. You've got Russ on his own, and it's 2 seconds to the Lindley, Williams, Mason, Evans, Hudson and Oxenham group. Then 13 seconds, 11 seconds back, I think, yep, to the Warsdale, Cross, Castneil and from Gritty, Joe Blackburn group. So these gaps are not huge at the moment, and you can see this group is coming back to Russ at the moment. So this is group number 1, 10 seconds, I think. In fact, 9 seconds to group number 2. And group number 2 are not all that far off the wheels, so you can see how far behind that beacon they are at the moment. If this gang will work together, they've got a good chance of closing now, because they have got a volume of riders, much more so than the riders in front. However, there's some serious firepower up here. It's going to be very difficult to pull these guys back. They've got that little bit of a lead. 7 seconds at the moment as we look over the shoulder of Dale Williams and Russ Sterling at the moment. So Russ patrolling the back of this group, nobody going off the front of the pack. The chasing group behind at 6 seconds. That'd be really interesting if all this came back together again. Very, very telling now. Is anybody going to try and make that jump? 6 seconds to make up. Going into the line at the moment. I love the fact Russ going, come on guys, we can't be caught. Well, you could be. So 1 more lap to go. 1 more lap to go. Thank you very much, Mr. Dunn. So we get a shot of Matt in here, just nicely tucked in to this group, pedaling super smoothly at the moment. A great job of calling the numbers on the way through. And this group now are through with 1 to go, and continuing to push here. This group is not giving up on this chase by any stretch of the imagination, and it's only going to take a few really good turns to start pulling these riders back. Looks like Sharp is leading this out. Now, let's see how they are going. There were some nice fast turns here. Quick fast turns, guys, get on to that group in front. This is some great stuff. If they can get the group back, that's going to put the cat amongst the pigeons. And remember, if you push the riders in front, then they're going to have less left at the end, and more easily for them to blow. Let's see how they're going to go. Well, they're going to need a concerted pace line on the way through here to get this back. I think the response that's come up in front is the gang, and it's Simon Oxenham at the moment who's on the front. Hudson, Mason and Co. All that. Oxenham really strong at the back at the start, helping people out, pulling them back into the group, and on the front and now. Making everybody, keeping the front group honest. And I'll tell you something, that's what the DCG, the Donny Chaingang, is all about. Riders who are absolute class acts, looking after the riders at the back, and then going out and coming out to play once that trigger is pulled. Great running by Simon. Now Dale Williams just continue to wind up. Somebody's going to have to take up the running. There's a hesitation to pick up the pace, to take up the running, about doing too much. Very cagey. You've got so many good riders in there. They're playing it very, very cagey at the moment, not putting too much effort in. They want to stay clear, but they don't want to do too much. So Oxford and back absorbed in this. Yes, absolutely something else again. Watching this group as they come through and the chase behind. Let's put that review camera. They are not able to get a substantial lead. Okay, it's 14 seconds between the groups at the moment on this long drag here. But that distance is not there now. Key place to try and go across. Although you're likely to see an attack on the front group. Really is. Now Dale Williams saying break it them, keep pulling. They are definitely getting a little bit more advantage on that group in front, but this group is riding well, and I don't think you can discount them at the moment. So down into the dip, taking that right hand turn. Well, here we go. It is the run in now. Just going to try and take a little bit of a look back on this group. So looks like group number one just staying clear. Now, as they go on to the climb, group number one speed will automatically drop unless they put in a huge kick in there, which is possible. These guys are on the front for a reason. Behind, that is a chance. So remember, let's see what's going to happen. Are we going to see group two close with group one down? Is they going to put an extra push in on group number two? They need to do it on the run in to the climb. That is the key point where they are able to get in, because they will have that speed and that momentum. Looks like Little at the moment doing the jump at the moment. He's gone to the front, he's pulled hard, and I think he's gone so hard through, he's actually just opened a gap up to the rest of the riders here. So this is where group two needs to push. If group two pushes on the run into that climb, they're going to get some ground back. They've got to then try and consolidate on that climb, but group one will be having none of it, and they're going to be watching to see what this group does. It's thinned down a little bit as group number two as they come through, but you can just see top of your map there, all pretty much together as groups 3, 4, 5 all on the way as well. So this is the leading group of riders on the way through. They're doing some really big turns here. Russ doing a monster turn, trying to keep them clear at the moment. You can see Little is coming across here. So Little is going to come onto the back of this pack as we start to see the power-ups being put down here. And it looks like Mason is going to put a big old kick in up this climb. So it's going to be Mason who's going to lead them up here. Now this, if you are on form, this is a 910 watts per kilo kick pretty much to the top, so hold it for the full length of time. If you're going well, this is the sort of climb you can kick all the way up and over the top. If you are on your limit, you're going to be found out very quickly. And it looks like 4 riders now are going to start breaking clear. Lindley, Mason, Williams, and Downing. They've got the gap, and it's a gap back. It's a Hudson and co. So Simon Oxenham, after doing all of those turns, and along with Harry Hudson and Finley Hudson, have come over the top. And that's the gap that's opened up because they weren't on the wheels. They're now almost equidistant to the group in front, to the group behind. That is going to be very interesting indeed. And this is where you see, has anybody got an anvil in these groups here? It doesn't look like there's one coming in on group number 2. Group number 1, again, not having an anvil in there. And this could be to the advantage of the pack behind, because if this pack behind stay together, then really a push, they've got a chance of coming through. Look at Hawkins go through. There's 3 with anvils here. And I think Little is going to be one of them. They're really just continuing to push here. And they're going to have a chance of coming back because they are all broken up in front. There are 4 riders left on the front. We've still got plenty of ground to go as we go into the finish. Remember, we're on that last lap. This is all about the run to the line now. So at the moment, our leading group of 4 riders, Mason in the all black, Lindley in the pink and blue. In the blue top with the black shorts, that is Dale Williams, and Russ Downing in the Downing Cycling coaching grey and green with a chevron hovering above him. They're your leading 4 riders. Now it is 6 seconds back to this group of 3 riders. Harry Hudson, Finley Hudson, and Simon Oxenham are the chase riders at the moment. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Russ giving it absolutely everything on the way through here, trying to stay clear. They've got a little bit of a gap. It's only 4 seconds there to Finley, to Harry, and to Simon. And it's 12 seconds back to this group. This is the next biggest, so it's probably the biggest group in the top 20 or so riders. And you can just see they could start to sweep riders up if they're not careful. Looks like we're just seeing these guys just trying to keep the pressure on, but they've been caught, and the 4 riders have become 7 riders again. So Hudson, and Oxenham joining the group in front. So what was 4 leaders now becomes 7 riders once again as they come in and through here. You can just see this is going to be about who has got any kind of pace here. It's going to take a look at Hudson. He's gone rolling through with the anvil on that slight downhill, but that's going to come off now. So not going to have any effect. He's got a little bit of a cap, and he's holding 6 watts per kilos here. And this means that he's going to be leading this out. Behind it's about who's got the power. Now Lindley comes across. Is this going to be a kick to the wheel, or is it a kick over the top? Lindley rolls over the top and rolls off the power. How are you going to see him do that? He's going to now be in front. Just watching Russ starting to wind, so he's put the anvil in. It's not going to have any effect on this downhill, though. On this flat section at the moment, it's a slight rise, but Russ is going to go over the top. He's closing down on Lindley. Lindley's going to need to pick this up and kick once again. This is going to be very, very close indeed. Now, Mason is sat at the back of this, watching this unfold. And this is going to be telling here, because we are going to see who's going to get the roll here. Lindley's going to be left to lead this out at the moment. And when we take a little bit of a look back from Lindley, you can see Downing is on his wheel. Then it's Williams in the blue. Williams just rolls up and on. Is he going to go over the top? He is. He sees that gantry. Well, this is it. He's gone for this. He's gone hard. He's gone early. Is he going to be able to hold them off all the way to the line? Dale Williams looking like he is going to take this out all the way to the finish. So Williams has got the gap behind. It's going to be a fight between Lindley and Downing as they come to the line. So in 1 is going to be Williams, 2 is going to be Downing, 3 will be Lindley, 4 is going to be Harry Hudson. And then it's going to be 5 for Oxham, 6 for Finley Hudson. And it's going to be a 7 for Mason behind. This is all about the sprint in for the line. We're going to roll in with Taylor, but I saw somebody ghost up the road here somehow. Who's gone? Has anybody gone in front? They're going to reappear if they do. They have. Look at that. Osman has got over the top there. This is going to be between Osman and Pearson. Pearson, I think, just getting that as they come in and through. Blackburn, our fastest female finisher, in with that group sprinting. On the way through, good riding by Joe on the way through there to be our fastest female finisher, and all of these groups coming in and through now. Next group on the way in looks like we're going to have the guys on the way through. It looks like we've got Richardson on the chase. Skelton is just in front. Richardson is putting the pressure down here. I think Richardson's going to take it. He's going to hit the line first. It is going to be Richardson. Skelton. Mantis is just going to roll Skelton there on the way through. Joy goes through Starkey. Jimmy Allen having gone through. Then it's going to be the Goodwin McDermott chase here. Malin's going over the top though with massive power here. He goes over the top of that little group there, going in and through. Next group of riders, well, it's a solo rider at the moment because it is going to be Wagons from Barnsley's Road Club. Just ahead of Dick Small and Martin Davidson, that's Simon Runnett, Tim from Dyson's. So through the line goes Wangers, then it's going to be Dick Small, then it's going to be Marty Davidson. Yeah, tough day at the office for lots of riders. A gang at the front benefiting from a bit of a rust-owing there on the way through. Simon Running going to be our next rider coming in to the finish. Going to be ahead of what is going to be an unfolding sprint here. And this looks like it's going to be between Gale and Garfer. It's Gale on the front at the moment. I think Garfer is not going to have him. Gale is having to kick again on the front, so it's Gale at the moment in the dark blue, takes it from Garfer, then it's Wharfdale Phil. It's going to be Tim from Dyson Cycles ahead of Gibbo, then it's going to be Daisy Freer. This is going to be the second of our female finishers here coming in and through. Another good ride by Daisy. The youngster showing absolute class once again. Will be followed by Mick Clark, then Vin Donahoe in that order, I suspect. So Mick, our next ride finisher. So Mick Clark followed by Vin Donahoe. Donahoe's going to be the next rider. He's ahead of Chris Ball, and then Ball has Raccoon on his wheel. Then it's going to be House, followed by Stevens. So Vin through the line, Raccoon leading this out. He's got Ball behind him. Raccoon absolutely class, remember, on the wheels. A rider who, Mr. Watson, doesn't need any introductions to anybody who knows fast riders. Ball coming in behind another of our class riders here on the gang. Going to come in just ahead of House and Sadler. Now, who's going to have the sprint here? This is going to be really interesting. House has gone up to 10 watts per kilo. Sadler is at less watts per kilo. And I think that is going to be telling as they come into the line. Joe House is going to take skip from Chris Sadler. Then it's going to be Jason Stevens ahead of Wallace, who's got the sprint. He's got the jump, I think, on Cannon at the moment. Cannon is coming for him, but I think Wallace should have this. He's got the numbers. Can he roll it all the way into the line? So it is going to be a Wallace, followed by Cannon, followed by Tracy the Terminator Seeley. Then it's going to be Wildly, Keyworth, Catlin. And Catlin will roll in ahead of Sir Rodney. So Sir Rodney with a little bit of a lead over Andy at the moment. So Andrew Priester is going to be in behind. So Rodney, who's going to take the line. Good riding by Sir Rodney. Then it is going to be Dave Lee. So Dave makes his way through the line. Time to roll those legs out. Then it's going to be Priester, followed by Bailey. So Andrew Bailey, then should be Sir Mr. Young. So Brad Young with a little bit of distance to the line. He's got Bobby Mason, Carl Johnson, and I think Craig behind at the moment. Just going to keep a check on those riders. They make their way up here into the finish line area. So Bailey in and over the line. Brad going to be our next rider on the way in towards the finish. Going to take this left-hand turn at the moment. So soon going to be able to see that line. Here comes the gantry in front. And this is where Brad knows he's only got that run to the finishing line to do. So in past the pens comes Brad Young. He's going to be our next finisher here on the Chaingang. 63rd position should be his. Behind him, Bobby Mason should be in about 64th with Johnson 65th. A good result for these riders here today on the Donny Chaingang. Don't forget, of course, Chaingang rolling on tomorrow with the WOW DCG. That's what we're on Wednesday's Donny Chaingang. Going to be heading on to the triple flat loops. Then we're back in Innsbruck on Thursday. Bobby Mason in and through the line. Good riding, Bobby. Well done, mate. Behind him, it's going to be Carl Johnson. Johnson continues in towards the line. No, that's a sprint from Carl. That's almost guaranteed, almost a certainty as we come in to the finish that Carl will open up the throttles. So Carl with a view of that finishing line. He's going to be on his run into the finish. This is the end of the road, of course, which you hit there. Then there is the roll into the blue banner. So great riding by Carl here today as he goes in underneath that UCI banner. So that means that Mr. Craig out on the course, making his way in and around. So as we see him heading his way in, going to say a few bits of admin. So don't forget, guys, we have WOW DCG tomorrow. That is the Women Only Wednesday Donny Chaingang. That's be coming out to you. Same live feeds going out on the Full Speed Events and Downey Cycling YouTube channels. It'll be going to you on the Facebook page as well. Really looking forward to seeing how our riders get on that one. Going to be a very, very interesting course, and going to be good to see how that plays out. Don't forget, of course, we're then on to Thursday's events, which will be the Donny Chaingang. We're going to be back in Innsbruck for the Open Chaingang. When we've completed that, then we're going to be heading, of course, into the weekend. Lots more being covered by Full Speed Events. So we're going to be covering our Sunday race club. That's the big prize money, eSports cycling. That's going out, huge prizes out to the riders, and that in the home of where the UAE Tour's actually been last week. So we'll see which courses we're going to be heading on there. That's going to be with Emma. Emma should be with me tomorrow if all goes to plan for the coverage of the WOW DCG and for Thursday's Chaingang, but we will that is to be confirmed here in the studios. And then after that, of course, we're going to be heading straight out to the Farmhouse Studios out in France, and that means that it's going to be a fingers crossed. We should make it in time to be able to bring you the Chaingang on Tuesday. That all the links, everything all ready to go. Even got the show all built and designed. So hopefully, if it all goes to plan, we'll be with you as well on the Tuesday. But lots more to come before then. Don't forget, of course, all of this is possible because of the people who donate. It's really simple. We don't make any money on this. All that we do is cover the costs of running the show, the equipment that we break, burn out, wear out, all the extra streaming, the processing required to be able to run the Chaingang on the way through. So please remember, guys, really, really key. Please keep donating. Please keep dropping those donations into the box. If you're a regular, of course, we reward you. So if you're one of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, we reward you of the links. We reward you with links. We reward you with those nice and early. Those reminders go out at the start of the week, and you get all of the links. You don't have to register week by week, ride by ride. We also, of course, give you all of the support and the discount codes from the guys up there. This month it's Continental. We're going to be giving doing a great giveaway for people. That is at the end of the month. Don't forget, of course, we've had the support. We had OT in September with the giveaways, 20% off them, and we were followed then by Halloween, the Halo wheels, October, 20% from them during October, 10% the rest of the time, and of course big giveaways from them as well. We had a Gritty in November, some great giveaways from them, and of course there's 20% off Gritty as well at the moment. Into December it was 1080 with 3 custom pairs of Oakleys, as well as big discounts on top of the already ridiculously cheap prices for Oakleys, as well as the best advice in the business. Into January, it was Fellow-Skin looking after our riders. Jimmy Allen winning a year's supply. It's not a lifetime. Not even Fellow-Skin can afford to be that generous, even with their amazing products. And I think it'd be very difficult to work out the maths probably as well. But a year's supply of Fellow-Skin Chevy Cream going to Jimmy Allen. And 20% discount for people off Fellow-Skin products as well. We are currently in February, which is Continental. In March, we're going to be supporting Nos supporting the Chaingang. And then we're going to be running on our way into April with the return of one of those key commercial supporters on the way through. So guys, make sure if you can, you help us keep the show on the road. The WoW DCG runs to the end of March, the Donny Chaingang to the end of April. Then it will be the summer break when there will be lots of other events on, and we will be continuing to cover all sorts from the World Championships up in Scotland right the way through BMX and lots of live events. Got some in real life gravel events as well, and then should in theory be back in the September. Watch this space, of course, because we're a long way from that at the moment. So we're going to watch our last rider coming in and through the line. Let's dive back in with Craig as he comes into the line here. So great running today by Callum. Callum's going to be our next finisher here on the Chaingang. Well done, Callum. He is our next finisher on the Donny Chaingang here live coming out to you. So as Callum makes his way into the finish, it just remains for me to say, make sure you support the people who support the Chaingang. Don't forget to give Russ a follow. It's Fonzie Downing, Bike Flex, of course, Downing Cycling and the Espresso Coffee. Don't forget, of course, you can jump in with Emma, who'll be joining me tomorrow. It's at Biking Emma. Myself, that's Matt Facer Payne. And that's also at Full Speed Events. Jump on, subscribe, give us a like, give us some support. It all helps on the way through. So from me, Matt Payne, from Russ, from all of the gang, stay safe, enjoy yourselves. We'll see you again tomorrow for the WoW DCG, the Women Only Wednesday Donny Chaingang. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.